Hi, in this video, we're going to talk about the proportions of the face and the placement of the features. What I'm going to do now is show you some visual reference that is going to be uploaded to the site that will help you and guide you to know the proportions that you need. So I'm going to share my screen and show you this slideshow. Here we have on the right, a drawing by Da Vinci that's familiar from we talked about in the beginning of class, and an illustration of a woman's face. What's important to realize is that when you're drawing something, you kind of look for clues in the body to know where things line up. And what I mean by that is we just discussed that the eyes are halfway between the top of the head and the chin, but there's also other placements of the eyes that will help us. Notice on this illustration right here, it shows that the outside corner of the eyes line up with the neck. And so when you're unsure of where to put the corner of the eyes, realize that your neck and the corner of the eyes line up. There's also diagonal lines that you might want to use. Not all the lines have to be in a perfect grid. So similar to the one with Da Vinci, in which he takes the corner of his ear, lining up with the corner of his nose and the corner of his mouth. Notice on this illustration of the woman, it's the corner of the eyebrow, the eye, the corner of the nose, the center of the mouth, and then goes towards the chin. And so by looking at placement, you can then put your features in perfect proportion. In the next slide, it shows not only a front view of a woman, but a side view. Here it shows the outside skull and the outside of the shape of the head and how the hair expands beyond that. And with the features, the first thing you would want to do is draw that upside down egg shape or the oval, then draw the center line, that is the space for the eyes, and then begin to divide up the space so that you can put the actual features in the appropriate space. On a 3/4 view, or for this part, a profile view, you want to still use guidelines. And this profile view shows how the skull is divided directly in half at the jawline. The ear is on the back half of that center line, and your face is on the front half. When dividing the front half in half, the quarter of it is just your cheek and jaw, and it's the front quarter that has all of your features. And so that will help you begin to place whether you're doing a profile or a front view. What's also important is that certain types of lines and the way that things are drawn can sometimes be more masculine in its features or more feminine in its features. There's not one rule, but it sometimes helps to create that look. So when you look at this woman's features, you can see that the lines are drawn softer, that a woman's face has a softer brow bone. It indents at the beginning of the nose. The nose, again, is drawn as a softer curved line. The lips are a little bit softer and rounder, and the chin is a nice soft edge. Again, her eyes are halfway. Her nose is in that halfway mark at the bottom half, and then the lips are on that bottom quarter. And so when we look at the profile of a man's um, drawing and the way that the artist sketched. Notice how the brow bone is more distinct and angled, which is indicative to a male skull. Notice how the nose is a little bit more sharp and defined as a pointy shape versus something really soft, along with the lips more angled and the chin. This is a stereotype, and female can have more masculine features, males can have more feminine features. This is just a generalization. Again, the ear is on the halfway point, the eyes are halfway, and the features are in that front quarter. Also notice how we talked earlier, the eyes are one particular distance, and that is the same distance as what's in between the eyes. And then as we go straight down, this is where the neck would begin at the corner of the eyes. The last slide in this presentation is based on if you're drawing or painting a child or a baby. One thing that makes a baby look more like a baby is that their eyes are not halfway in their head. A baby's face is kind of smushed and it's lower than halfway. And so a baby has a much larger head and a smaller space for the features. Baby's eyes have a tendency to be larger than a human's eyes in proportion, because one thing that you might want to know is that a child's eyes are born the same size as they will be throughout their whole entire life, and eyes don't get progressively bigger as someone gets older, as lips, nose, and ears do get progressively bigger. A baby's nose is always going to be like a little bit of a pug nose in which you can see inside the nostrils, and never a turned down nose for a baby, because if they had a turned down nose, they would suffocate when they're nursing. And so, couple features about babies: smushed faces more towards the bottom half, not halfway, always a pug nose, and usually really cute little kissy lips. And the ears are a little bit lower on the head. Okay, and so these are just points of reference you want to use when drawing in proportion. So now we're beginning to now learn how to draw our features.